What the heck with Jimmy G? Let's explain how can he get suspended and lose over $10 million for taking a legally prescribed medication. Here's the story. This is Dr. David Chow, Pro Football Doc from Sports Injury Central, 17-year head NFL team physician. I am familiar with the PED rules, and the rules are very much like the Olympics. They're very strict. Yes, there are obviously illegal medications, anabolic steroids, etc. But for example, even if you got a prescription for anabolic steroids, you still couldn't use them. There are classes of medications that require what's called a therapeutic use exemption. Let's say Adderall, a stimulant. I'm not suggesting that Jimmy G was on Adderall legally or illegally, but there is a process for a therapeutic use exemption that needs to be filed before a player uses a drug that's on the prohibited list. There are definite no-nos. There are no-nos that require previous approval, thus the therapeutic use exemption, and there are legal prescribed medications. It's very complicated. Every team physician, every medical staff in the NFL knows these rules. And if you get medication from a team physician, you can be sure that everything is proper. But if you get medication from your own physician, they may be doing the right thing for you, the proper thing for you, the legal thing for you, but it can violate the collective bargaining agreement and the PED testing if you don't file the therapeutic use exemption. And this has to be done ahead of time. Teams all know this, players know this, and all the player has to do is he can see his own physician. Jimmy can see his own physician, get whatever prescription from that physician. But if he just tells the medical staff, they'll tell him yes, no, or hold on, maybe we need to file this so that you can legally take it and not pop positive. Those are the rules very clearly. Outside doctors can be doing the exact right thing, but the NFL rules are a little bit different than in the real world. Therefore, here's a misstep that's going to cost him $11.25 million of his guaranteed salary. What a shame for Jimmy G. He said not to appeal. Look, players and their agents are notified of positive tests ahead of time. They have ample opportunity to appeal. They have ample opportunity to witness an extra sample being tested. There's a whole process. He did not just test positive for PED. This has been going on for months, at least weeks, likely months, and has been pending. This whole testing system and notification system is done entirely separate from the team. There's no way the team could or should know about this, otherwise would face huge fines. The player gets notified first. Each team has one medical officer that is independent of the team, and if a player tests positive, they are not to report anything to the team until it comes down officially to the league. And the team doesn't even get to know what the drug was, what the violation was. The team just gets to know what the penalty is when it becomes public. The player is the only one who knows what drug it was. And unless Jimmy G says it, we won't really legally ever know what it was. Was it Adderall? Was it something else? Was it something simplistic? There are a lot of stimulants that are banned as PEDs. Look, even caffeine is banned as a PED, but the levels are so high that you really couldn't get there drinking coffee or any other normal stimulants. But the rules are complicated in the NFL, just like the Olympics, and this is why players are always told you're responsible for what goes in your body. If there's any questions, ask the medical staff. They can cross-reference any medication that you're getting. The fact that he's not appealing this does not mean that he's guilty of anabolic steroids, but it does mean he's looked at his options and he's not going to win an appeal. What it does mean is by the rule and the letter of the law, he has violated the PED policy. The 2-game suspension indicates it probably is not anabolic steroids. It probably is just a misstep where he needed to get clearance but didn't. And that's the shame of this. If he would have filed the therapeutic use exemption, there's a good chance he could have legally used whatever medication there was and just notified the league ahead of time. That unfortunately didn't happen, and now it's going to cost him $11.25 million. Go to Sports Injury Central, sicscore.com. This is Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow.